Okay, I'm here with our coach, David Raven. David, thank you for joining me today. And we're going to talk specifically today about one of your achievements recently and your club's achievements in the FA Cup. So first of all, congratulations. You're playing with Marine and you're through to the third round of the FA Cup and got, quite a big draw in the next round.
Yeah.
So firstly, though, Dave, it's Marine that you're playing with. Tell us a little bit about Marine, and Marine Football Club.
It's actually one of the oldest clubs, believe it or not, in the football pyramid in England. So it's got a lot of history there. But it's one of them clubs who, I mean, at the moment, as it stands, as our ground is, we couldn't go any higher than the conference, which is the 5th tier in England. So, and then we'd have to change grounds. As the regulations state set, we need certain distances for the dugouts to be back from the sideline and stuff like this. So we'd have to move, but it's an old ground, a lot of history, a lot of heritage, and small club in tier 8. It should be a lot higher. It's well run. It's I think they relegated to that tier last year. So we're looking to get back up again and kick on. But it's well run. It's got good people behind the scenes. They do things right wherever they can, which for that level is quite unique, really. Yeah.
You've obviously got a lot of media attention at the moment because you're into the third round of the FA Cup. But this journey's been going for quite a long time for Marine. Really, you've played quite a few games. Tell us very, very briefly about the journey of where you've got to from now.
Well, our first game of the season was actually an FA Cup game, so we needed to qualify. I think we played. I think it was our 8th game in the FA Cup or 7th game. So we've had to win all of them games just to get into the third round. So we played a team called Barnoldswick in the first qualifying round, all the way back in whenever it started, September time, and we were 1-0 down with 2 minutes left. We equalised. We were playing awful football. We didn't play well, and then we scored again, which was probably more of a phantom goal we've seen since. At the time, I thought the ball crossed the line, and then afterwards, I saw a picture of the ball, and it was, I think it was about this far, the other, the wrong side for us, if you like, of the line. But the referee gave it, and ended up being absolutely amazing journey since. So it's been a long journey, and we're still in the FA Trophy as well. So it means we've only played 5 league games. So. Yeah, it's been brilliant.
Is it sometimes that little bit of luck that in these type of competitions that you need to be able to obviously progress through that far?
I think it is, yeah. When you look back now and you think that, I could never have dreamed at that point we were going to make it even into the next qualifying round. We played that badly. It was one of them moments when I was thinking, this needs to get better. But yeah, sometimes you get these turning points. You get these little moments in seasons where things turn, and that was a big turning point. And then later on in the league campaign, we had a turning point where we didn't play well, but we won, and it seemed to give everybody that bit of belief. And all of a sudden, it literally happened in the space of a few days. It just seemed to click. The team seemed to click. We had young lads who I just thought were just running around like sort of headless chickens. All of a sudden, boom, they were a team. We were knowing where to run, when to run, and we just seemed to gel. And the team pretty much picked itself then for the next sort of 11, 12, 13 games. And we've been on a winning streak, winning 14 out of 16 or 15 out of 17, something like that. And it's just rolled and rolled and rolled, and we've picked up momentum as it's gone on, that I never thought we would have. And the amount of clean sheets we've kept, I don't even know how many clean sheets we've kept, where we're so hard to beat now. So I'd never dreamed it had got to the third round, because you're that far down. You've got so many obstacles to overcome. It's hard enough playing a team in the league above you, never mind 2, 3, 4, 5 leagues above you. So I would never dreamed it. Yeah.
But so, with the FA Cup run specifically, then, because I know there was quite a big story of Marine. You played Colchester, I think it was, in the previous round. Was there a specific turning point in them games of the FA Cup where you thought, actually, we've got a good chance of really progressing on here and really going? Was it that Colchester game, or was it earlier on in the campaign?
Possibly, yeah, Chester. So when we beat Chester, we were good for the win. We played Chester pre-season, and they put 5 past us. It was like 5-2. And I remember I had a little personal sort of goal to beat Chester, because I got a couple of ex teammates who play for them. And he came over and reminded me straight after the game, when he beat us 5, they put 5 past us, how poorly I played that day. It was my first game back after the lockdown, so after the 6-month lockdown, and I was miles and miles off the pace. And he came over to me and reminded me that I was poor that day. So when we got the draw against Chester, it was music to my ears. I was like, right, there's no way on earth that we are going to lose this game. I was running around like a man possessed that day, I remember. And that gave us massive belief winning that game. So when Colchester came along, there was a bit of, I suppose there's a bit of trepidation amongst the younger boys. And I remember setting up, doing a bit of shape work. And it seemed to be, we were building these guys up too much. And I was like, boys, these are League Two players. Yeah, they're good, but they're League Two players. We are far capable of beating these quite easily. And just drilling into the younger lads that actually how good they can be. Was sort of then my goal and my aim to say, wow, what an opportunity you've got here, guys. You play well against these, they take notice, and I tried to spin it that way instead of, I tried to take away the fear factor, if you like, of the games. So changed it around into make it a challenge instead of something to be scared of. So when we went into Colchester, there was not much fear factor there. We were well drilled. The manager came up with a game plan that was absolutely superb, I thought. And he woke up on a Saturday morning and decided to change his mind, which I was so glad he did. And we went down to the training pitch on the Saturday morning before the Saturday afternoon game against Colchester and practiced this new game plan, which went absolutely brilliantly. So, the belief has grown as time has gone on. Every game, we think, well, we beat them, we can beat them, there's no problem. So it's just gone on and on, yeah.
So that I mean, the first win that really got into the press and was picked up was that Colchester win, obviously playing league opposition and things. So that was the whole setup of that game, and that was a last minute change on the Saturday morning, was it? That was it was
just a tweak, yeah. So it was a tweak where when we played against Chester, we knew that they'd try and switch the play, get the ball out from the back. So in that case, the manager looks at what personnel he's got and thinks, well, how best are we going to play against this? So we decided, right, let Chester have it, come out one side, and then we'd all try and defend one side of the pitch. Now that was fine. It worked against Chester, mostly because the centre-backs didn't have the same quality as the centre-backs at Colchester. And I was worried about that. I was worried about the centre-backs at Colchester being able to step into midfield, ping diags, put balls into the front two strikers to cause us problems. And I think the manager was thinking exactly the same. So he woke up on a Saturday morning and decided to get our centre forward to man mark one of their centre backs. So to let the ball come out to the right centre back to have the ball. And every time he looked up to try and switch the play to his left centre back, because their strength was on the wings, he couldn't do it. And our centre forward was standing right next to their centre back man marking him. And I thought it was a stroke of genius. I really did. I've never seen it done. I'd never been involved in a game where a centre forward's been asked to do a job like that. And Colchester just couldn't deal with it. They couldn't get their heads around it. They couldn't switch the play. They couldn't do what they wanted to do. And we just ended up shuffling side to side. They'd give us the ball back and on off we went. So I just thought, yeah, a little stroke of genius from the manager there. He deserves a lot of credit for
that. I mean, the last 2 games, they haven't been easy games. You've gone into extra time both. I mean, and that Colchester game went into penalties. And obviously you stepped up for one of the penalties and took yours. And think, what was going through your mind when you stepped up to take that penalty?
I had it in my head what I was going to do, and the way I prepared for it was just to go over and over and over in my mind what I was going to do, and I was just, if the keeper saved it, he saved it. But in my head, it was a clean strike straight down the middle, and that was it. That's what I was going to do. And I just pictured it over and over and over again from the minute I knew I was taking a penalty to the minute I actually took the penalty. So by the time I actually took the penalty, I actually felt really quite calm. So stepping up to penalty, I knew exactly what I was going to do because I had no doubt in my mind because I told myself about 50 times before that. And I know there's real strength in that, so that's why I knew about it, you know. So, but stepping up, after that, the manager said, "I didn't know you took penalties," and I said, "No, I don't. That's only my second one in my career." So, he said, "If I knew that, you probably wouldn't have been on the list." So yeah, it was just one of them where I needed to show leadership. I was probably the most experienced player on the pitch, never mind on our team. So showing that bit of leadership to, I'll take a penalty, Gaffer, 100%, and let everybody else sort of follow on from that.
It was a great penalty, and like you say, it was hit with confidence. I think the commentator also knew exactly what you were going to do as well, because he said nonsense straight down there. But then, obviously, from that one, and you won on penalties, and that was a great story, and attracted a lot of press to you. But you've gone through into the second round and won that virtually with the last kick of the game. A cross that you nearly got onto the end of, but I know that we've spoken since, and you thought if you got on the end of it, it might not have gone in. But talk us through that last few minutes of that game as well.
We knew we'd get a chance. I mean, when we throughout the game, their players, their defenders, we knew they were actually really poor from their own defensive set pieces. Like, amazingly, they're all 6 foot plus. One of the lads was 6'5", but they really weren't very good at defending set pieces. We'd seen that in the videos leading up to the game, and throughout the game, the balls are great. The delivery into the box is brilliant, and they seemed to really struggle when it was right in the sense of the goal. And I said to the lads, like, I'm just going to run straight, because we were trying to come up with little elaborate runs to lose our markers, and it wasn't working. They were getting on the end of the ball, so I just thought to myself, I nearly scored, and I got my head to one a few minutes before it when I was completely unmarked. So I thought, I'm just going to do that again, and I started right in the centre of the goal, on the edge of the box, and ran straight forward, and I was completely unmarked, and I was absolutely amazed. And that was all it was, really. It was just a case of thinking, these aren't descending; they're not defending the centre of the pitch well at all. For whatever reason, I don't think they were aggressive enough, or they timed the jumps well enough. I don't know. And I wanted to stop the goalkeeper coming and collecting it as well. So that was my idea, run right down the centre. But yeah, when that ball cross came in, I stuck my leg out to sort of thinking I'm going to get a touch to it, but it was too far. If I'd have touched it, it would have gone wide because I didn't have enough purchase on it. And the other thing was, I thought, if there's anybody behind me, I'm just going to put them off. So that's all that was, really. And then follow the second ball. But they seem to be, for such a big side, have a very big weakness at defending set pieces, which was pretty surprising, really. Yeah.
So obviously, the last kick of the game. Now, I know that we were talking. You were talking with some of our players on Zoom earlier this week, and it was in there, I think, the 120th minute, but there was still a couple of minutes to go in that game, and you said that you had to sort of be a bit of a leader on the pitch and get them calmed down and make sure they focused in them last couple of minutes of the game.
Well, we scored, and obviously everyone's celebrating, running around, but we had some of the subs came running onto the pitch like we'd won the game. We've still got 2 minutes to play, and all I could think of was the fact that we just conceded a huge chance, literally 10 seconds or 15 seconds after the restart. So 10 seconds after the second half of extra time restart, we could have conceded quite easily. They went down our right-hand side, got across in the box, and we defended it. But I thought that could happen. We've got 2 minutes left, and it's a long time to play in football. So I was just trying to calm everybody down. Calm down, sort your heads out. We can celebrate this after. You know what I mean? Come get yourselves in shape again, and let's concentrate, because that's when you're most vulnerable. As soon as you score a goal, that's when you're at your most vulnerable. I've always been told that, and I've always been aware of that. So. Yeah, I just thought my job here is to make sure everybody's on it for these last 2 minutes, because I thought to myself, if they score, if they equalise, then they go on, they win the game possibly, because they've got the momentum. They'll take that into the penalty shootout. So it was so important we kept our sort of mentality at that point. Yeah.
And then on Monday night was the third round draw. And obviously coming into the third round, there's all the Premier League clubs, Championship clubs, and all that. You got an easy tie, I think, in the third round against Spurs. Is that right?
Yeah,
So
they're only top of the league, aren't they? Top of the
they're only
Prem.
top of the Premier League. So what does that mean? Obviously, Marine have been drawn against the league leaders. You got Jose Mourinho going to be coming to Marine. What does that mean for the club and for you as well?
Well, it's everything for the club. I think. I think it's a record as well, by the way, for the amount of places in between two teams in the FA Cup. So I think this is the first time there's been something like 280 odd places between two teams playing against each other. So that's a nice stat to know. But for the club and the area and the community, the whole cup run even up until now has been absolutely brilliant for the community. It's just putting a smile on people's faces in a tough year, especially in the area that we are in, and for the club, for the chairman, for all the people who volunteer and stuff like that, I think it's their dream come true to see people like Mourinho and Gareth Bale and Kane come and turn up to their ground and their place. They're going to try and put as good a sort of hosting on as they possibly can to show these guys we've got a bit of pride about ourselves, and I think it's huge. I think Mourinho, by the sounds of things, going to play as some of the stronger teams, some of the stronger players. Sorry, with he done an interview the other day saying he wants to give us the respect by playing the players that our fans would like to see, which he's done before, and I think that's really good, noble of him, and he'll make it into a bit of a spectacle if he does that. So it'll be good.
I know in some of the Zoom chats you've had with the players, and they asked about would you have preferred to play away at Spurs or at the big stadium and things. And I know you mentioned that some of the players, some of the younger players in the squad were up for that. What's going to be obviously the difference to playing there at home for you as a team and that against a team like Spurs?
Just with the surroundings, obviously it's a bit more alien to them. The pitch isn't going to be as good as the pitches at their ground. It's not, that big, slick, wide open pitch where they could pop it around us, and it's really fast. It's not going to be like that. So that could work to our advantage. The tightness of the ground, and even just the whole sort of, you'd like to think, you turn up to the Spurs ground there, they're comfortable with that. They're at their home ground. Where they turn up at our ground, it's tight changing rooms. There's not even a stand on one side of the pitch. Little things like that, where you think it might just, give us a little bit more of a chance when you're playing. You need to take every single thing you can get. The boggier the pitch for us, I think the better it is. It'll level it up for us. So, I mean, we like to play, but are we going to beat Tottenham at a passing game? Well, we're not. No. So let's be honest about this. Let's just win and however we can. I think that's the way we got to look at it.
You talk about the ground. I think I saw something on social media today. By the way, I thought the pitch on
it's good.
The thing looked really good. The pitch
it is really good. They've done loads of work on it. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
I saw something on social media. I think it was this morning that on some of the fencing around, that's the numbers of which house backs onto it, so that you know which house to go and knock on if you need to go and get the ball.
The ball goes over.
Yeah. Do you think you'll be sending Mourinho around to get the ball if their team kicks it over?
Oh yeah, I can imagine that. I think the neighbours will be made up with that one, won't they? Oh God, yeah.
So you talk about obviously them coming to your home ground and that. How do you think as a team you'll set up to play against a team like Spurs who are leading the thing? Will you do anything different?
I think we're gonna let's be honest. I mean, the difference in quality is vast. The gulf is huge. So going toe to toe with them, probably not going to do as much good. So yeah, we'll probably try and hit them on a counter attack, keep our shape as much as we can, limit their chances, just try and stay in the game for as long as we possibly can. And you just never know what might happen then. So I think that's just going to be the way forward. As I say, we've got pace, to be fair, and I think they might be surprised by the little bit of pace that we've got on either wing. So that might be a bit of a surprise for them. So yeah, I think that's going to be the way forward. I don't think we're going to go toe to toe with Tottenham, and then that'll just be like, suicide football. Yeah.
What about yourself? Obviously, you're playing there at centre half, and you got the prospect of coming up against Harry Kane, England captain and prolific striker. Is there anything different that you do, or you just play your normal game?
Yeah, I just prepare normally, like I normally would for a game. I've been asked that a couple of times, and I can't do anything different. In a minute, I change my preparation as I'm doing myself over. He's a better player than I am. He's fitter, stronger, and all the rest of it. We know all that. He's England captain, so I need to give myself every single chance to put up as good as a performance as I possibly can against him to try and stop that. I'm not going to go and ask for his autograph and shake his hand and all that before. I'm not interested in all that. As far as I'm concerned, he's my enemy on the day. We're going to compete professionally and see who comes out, and that's the way I've always looked at it. He's a normal guy with an extraordinary career and extraordinary job. It's one of them where if for a minute let me guard down, he's gonna jump all over it. The minute I go over to him and show that little bit of weakness by asking for his shirt, asking for his autograph, shaking his hand, and how glad I am to meet him, I don't think that's sends out the right message at all. Like, it's more so for myself. So yeah, in that sense, nothing's going to change for me. I'm going to just defend like my life depends on it, like I usually do. So nothing's going to change there. Yeah.
And like I say, for the club, it's a remarkable achievement to get to the third round, and fantastic to be able to play against the leaguers. But for you personally, in your career, you've had a great career of playing with Liverpool and playing up in Scotland, and some highlights of your career. Where does this sort of stand within your career? I think your first professional debut was against Spurs anyway, I heard. So where does this sit for you?
Well, that was actually 16 years ago to the day. I think the day after the draw, that debut. Someone told me, believe it or not, and I thought that was a bit spooky. But where does it sit with everything in mind and where I am in my career, and like how often I train and the age and stuff like that? The achievement to get here now is up there with anything I've ever achieved. I've played high levels and for Liverpool and for at Inverness winning the cup and all. We had great times there. So, but in terms of you generate the same feeling, you generate the same buzz. You look back and remember certain moments in your career, and it's going to be one of them where I'll look back and put this moment up with the other moments that I've remembered. Not because of the fact we beat Colchester. God knows how many times in a league game, and Chester. It's just the achievement with everything else that surrounds it, the perspective of it. As I say, how often we're training now and the standard that we're playing at. To achieve that, I think needs to be put up there with the other achievements that I've had.
Yeah. And I know that at the start of this year, or during the closed season and stuff, you obviously changed. You went and joined Marine, and you were talking about where your career is going to go. How important now is that decision that you made to keep going and stuff?
It's huge because I mean, I really did. I mean, Mick, we had a chat, didn't we? And you said, what are you going to do this year? And I really didn't know. I had to ask myself. I mean, it's not just time commitments as well. It's if I give myself to something, I give myself to it sort of 100%. And can my body take this again? Do I want my body to take this again? Training, trying to recover, working, playing at the weekends and trying to recover for the next game on a Tuesday. There's so much I need to take in, and I'm just so glad I said I'd carry on. I suppose I was in the wrong frame of mind at the start of the season, where because I was umming and ahhing over it, it probably affected performances and I wasn't quite right. And then I remember one day just sitting down on a good strong word with myself to say, right, get on with this, strap a pair on, start, booking your ideas up, and it's snowballed on and on and on. And I can only thank me lucky stars that I'm playing now. People always say play as long as you can, and I've always said it's not quite as easy as that. You need to be able to. And my body's been I'm able to. I felt all of a sudden it clicked and I turned the corner. I was fit. it took a while getting there, but once I got there, like my body up and running again, I've just thoroughly enjoyed everything about it. Yeah.
Now, they talk obviously about the magic of the FA Cup, and I've obviously followed the FA Cup since I was a lad, and you haven't played in it, which is, fantastic, something everybody's dream. How does this type of story for Marine and for yourself and for football as a whole, how does this really bring home sort of that magic of the FA Cup and really highlight it?
Well, it does, doesn't it? Because it shows you that. I suppose I'm like Marine, like we've got a bin man, we've got a teacher, we've got like these are got normal guys, normal lads. Some of the lads have come out of playing with clubs with no job and just play part time now, and it just shows you that you get a chance. And I think everybody loves the dreaming aspect of the minnows against the giants and whether they can get a result. And I think it makes people dream. I think it makes people. What if they win? And I think that is the magic of it. I think, it's the normality of Marine against the superstars of Tottenham. I think, and it gets people, inspires people. I think it makes people think, well, God, if they can do that, I can do that. And I want it to inspire young kids kicking a ball in the back garden. I drop my kids off at school in the morning, and all the little children there, they talk about it, and I hope I inspire one of them to go and kick a ball around and get, watching more football. And I think that's what it's all about. And I think that is the magic of the FA Cup, isn't it? So, yeah, I would definitely say that.
Well, I think you've certainly inspired many people. I think Marine have got a lot more supporters behind them. They definitely will when they come up against Spurs.
I think.
And I know that you've obviously done lots of interviews. You've done quite a few for a few Q&As with our players on the academy, and you've got another one lined up later on today.
Yeah.
What sort of with this story and obviously your achievements of what is the message that you can pass on and that experience and things to our young players on the academy and players that are looking at coming through?
I think what they've most enjoy is the build up to the games and actually what happens behind the scenes, and then obviously asking me about the experience of these games, how I've felt and how I've dealt with the pressure, how I've dealt with as you talk about playing against these big name players. But I think he really enjoyed the intricacies of actually the day-to-day workings of what we're actually doing. So when we prepare for these games, well, what do you actually do? How does that work? And when I've spoke to them, they seem to be really engaged on that side of it and really like fascinated by, because I think people have this thing in their mind, don't they, about football, as you turn up, you have a game of footy, you get muddy and you go home. It's just not the case at all. And what it enables me to do also is to drill home why we coach like we do. Myself and Matt up in Manchester, we drill home these certain values and things into the players. And then I can back it up with saying, well, this is why I say this to you, because this is where it gets you to. And this is what you need to, progress in football. I mean, a lot of these lads come over from overseas, sometimes think of dreams of the Premier League. And that's another thing of sometimes it could be a reality check to say, well, look at what you've got to do to play in the 8th tier, the 7th tier, the 6th tier of football. And for them, I think it's been really good for them as an education of the levels of football, that how good you've got to be, how hard you've got to train, how mentally switched on you've got to be at all times. So in the whole rounded context of it all, it's been brilliant. It just and I think they've loved asking me questions and soaking up as much as they can over it as well.
Well, thank you very much for your time. We are here at the Academy are all so excited for you, tremendously proud of you, and congratulations from all of us. Thanks. Here and all the players here. So thank you very much for that and your time, and we wish you well in the next round.
Cheers, Mick. No problem.